Hey guys, Scott from Aristocob.com here.
And Seth from ShrinkingPastor.com.
Together, the three of us, we're Markwood Men's Breakfast Club, and welcome to, I think, the first ever second part Friday episode. We're trying something new, try to make these a little bit shorter, and so this is our second post of the week. So if you missed the first one, we'll put a link to it. Go take a look at it, and give us another week and let us know what you think of this format.
Yeah.
If it works. So when we left off on Wednesday, we had lit up our pipes. We were smoking some Stokeby's Country Estate. I'm sorry, Sutliff Country Estate smooth and sweet mixture of Black Cavendish and rich Virginias. We're going to continue to smoke and let you know what we think. And as we were ending last week's episode, or Wednesday's episode, I was talking about picking up some tools.
In Florida.
In Florida. So I get down there, I check Craigslist, and one of the tools that, if you don't already know this about me, I used to work for Shopsmith. I love Shopsmith equipment, and even some of the ones that weren't successful. You know, there's a few machines like the Mark V, the 10ER, machines that they literally sold millions of these tools, and others that they sold a couple dozen of and then took off the market. So I'm checking Craigslist, and I see this thing called a crafter station. And the crafter station is basically a motorized stand that's variable speed that allows a person who doesn't own one of the main Shopsmith tools like the Mark V or the Mark VII or these multi-purpose machines. It allows that person to buy the individual tools, the bandsaw, the joiner, the scroll saw, the belt sander, things like that, and operate them on a stand. But instead of having to buy separate stands, separate motors, and kind of lose the advantage of the Shopsmith tools, which they fit in a tight space, they made this variable speed stand. Well, originally they made what was called the power station. And one of the salesmen at Shopsmith said, you know, what's lacking in selling someone a power station and these accessories is they still need a table saw. Because if you're working with 2x material, even 1x pine, you need to be able to break it down, saw, and cut down your lumber. Yeah. So they came up with a way of adding a table and blade system to the power station and came out with what's called the crafter station.
Wow, those guys ever heard of a Mark V?
Well, at the time, the Mark V was selling for about $3,000, and the crafter station with a bandsaw thrown in. So it's a bandsaw, table saw, and I think a disc sander. It was selling for $1,500.
So for those of you
entry level
techno geeks like myself, it's like what Xbox is doing now, selling the Xbox One without a Kinect. You know, that with the Kinect it was $500 mandatory, and now they're selling it Kinect free for $400. Modern day parallels.
All right, the problem.
I bet Microsoft got their idea from Shopsmith.
Crafter station severely underpowered. It's not a great table saw. It's still, because it was built on the power station, it's still a great variable speed stand to run the bandsaw and other accessories. It is also too slow, not underpowered, but the high-end RPM is too slow to run the jointer, which to me, table saw, joiner, they go hand in hand. The joiner gives you a straight, smooth edge. The table saw then cuts a nice parallel cut to that straight, smooth edge. You really couldn't do either one of those. But what I bought was a crafter station, a Shopsmith dust collector, which I've had one for many years that I like very much, a Shopsmith bandsaw, a Shopsmith jointer, which works awesome on the other Shopsmith equipment I have, and a Shopsmith scroll saw, and a stand that those go on. So anyway, it was a great deal. We were able to cram it in the back of the minivan. Surprise, Jandy. If you're wondering why I was frantically cleaning out the back of the minivan before we left the house, it was because I had my eye on this.
When in the process did she find out?
It was in the drive down. In the drive down, I was waiting on confirmation from the seller about, you know, availability and I'd be able to see it and exactly where are you located. We were visiting Orlando. He's north end of Tampa. Well, lo and behold, we were going to be heading through Tampa to visit our friends Text and Lil C, and so we were able to swing it. And it was a great deal. I mean, my wife trusts me. I know how to buy these tools. the guy had all of his literature, all his manuals and everything with it. And he said to me, I think I paid about $1,500 for this back in '89. Well, I knew he paid about $1,500 for the base machine. He was asking $600. I offered him $5. He accepted $5. I found the invoice. He paid $3,700 plus $500 shipping for that group of equipment.
Wow.
So I was thankful that he just wanted it out of a shop. That's
Yeah.
basically what it boiled down to. He's changed hobbies. He's now mostly into deep sea fishing. So he wanted his garage and he wanted some cash. So anyway, I'm happy about it. I'll probably shoot some videos on one of my other channels.
Yeah.
With it at some point.
It's awesome.
So while I was gone, you were doing something.
Yeah. The couple weeks ago, I went in for a sleep study.
Sleep study.
My wife's been concerned that she's known for several years that I have sleep apnea, which is a condition many times found in elderly men or fat men.
Elderly.
And it has to do with having too large of a neck, basically, and while you sleep, your throat clogs up for a time, and you end up stop breathing.
Something I didn't know until I was diagnosed with sleep apnea. When you go into REM sleep, your body actually becomes paralyzed. And your muscles that are your voluntary muscles become paralyzed. And part of that is that structure within your neck that helps to hold open the airways. Well, when you're a fat guy, you got additional weight and fatty tissue in your throat. Plus, maybe you have adenoids, maybe you've got your tonsils. Your uvula, the hangy down thing in the back of your mouth, can be a problem too.
Yeah.
So I've been, that was diagnosed 10 plus years ago with sleep apnea. 24% of the time I'm sleeping, I'm not breathing. It turns out that's not good.
Yeah, so for me, during normal sleep, an average of 25 times an hour where I would stop breathing. During REM sleep, it jumped up to 75 times. So 75 times in the 1 hour of REM sleep I wasn't breathing. And what happens when you stop breathing, your body goes into fight or flight mode. So you get a jolt of adrenaline to wake your body up because it thinks it's dying. And so your heart works overtime. So they said that 35%
pulls you immediately out of REM, which you don't necessarily wake up.
Right.
But you're no longer
But your
resting.
body wakes up.
You're not resting.
And so, 35% of people with sleep apnea end up with heart attacks because their hearts are overworked from all the adrenaline. They are, at one point during 1 hour time, during that REM hour that I should be getting rest, my oxygen level dropped down to 65% of what it should be. 65 is scary low. So, good news is I did 2 studies, sleep study. They put all these electrodes and things on you. They watch you sleep, and they measure your oxygen level, your muscles, your brain waves, all of this stuff, and are able to tell that, yes, you stop breathing while you sleep, and this is a problem. And so the second study I went in, they figured out that I need a CPAP, which is a assisted breathing device, a hose that you plug up to your face, and it's like a pneumatic air compressor, and so it pushes air into your lungs while you sleep. So every time that your throat starts to collapse and shut down and you would normally stop breathing, that air pressure continues the flow of oxygen so you can sleep well. And with that on, my sleep went up to like a 97% proficiency. And so what ends up happening, talked to a couple of guys that have it, Dad and some others in the pipe community even, and they say that, when you don't have the CPAP, it doesn't matter how long you sleep, you're still tired because your body's not rejuvenating, it's not getting that REM sleep it needs. And
you may not even be aware of how tired you are. It's just because it's like eating a frog slowly. You just get used to it.
And so one of the things that I've noticed, one of the side effects of having sleep apnea because your brain's not getting the oxygen it needs normally, is you end up getting a lot of headaches. And since I went in for my sleep study, I felt fine the next morning. Since then, 3 of the 6 days, I have had really bad headaches. And so one of the things that going there, they measured me over 500 pounds again. I swore that would never happen. So my wife and
I'm acting shocked.
Yeah, my wife and I have really hit diet and exercise. We're doing P90X, and we're dieting, and all of that is being documented on the Shrinking Pastor YouTube channel and the shrinkingpastor.com. For anyone there that needs encouragement or wants to
give some.
That's right. I'll take it. So that's going on. What do you think of this Sutliff?
I like it. It's light. It's very light and ever so slightly sweet, but not so much, not terribly discernible.
I thought mine was really sweet.
Did you think it was really sweet?
Yeah, I thought it was really sweet. A little bit bitter. Now, since I've put it down, there's been a little bit of bitterness that's creeped in, but I liked it. I thought it was really sweet.
The answer to that is you pick it back up, light it up again.
Yeah.
Well, here it just goes to show you how tastes are different. Would you smoke it again?
Yeah, absolutely.
We have some, so you're probably gonna.
Yeah. Well, good. All
yeah,
right.
It's definitely a smoke again tobacco for me, though there are others that I've enjoyed more. So we almost need to have a scale here.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll create a sliding scale of tobaccos, but not today.
It's for another time.
Right.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching our second part. Again, if you missed part one, check it out in the description.
And let us know what you think of this new splitting up the content.
Maybe they watch next week.
That's fine. Let us know first impressions and then second impressions next week. Because we're going to do it next week. So
yes, we are.
Hope you like it.
All right, guys.
Have a good weekend.
Make it a great weekend.
Bye.
Talk to you later.